Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Wednesday morning to you all. Hope you guys are getting up and feeling well this morning and having a great start to your day, having a great week out there so far as we're midway through it. It's been a pretty active week in the weather world with just the intense heat, record breaking for some, and then just the storms riding around the ridge of high pressure. We've had a lot of severe weather this week and just a tricky forecast and trying to figure out what these storms are going to do, where they're going to form, where they're going to dissipate, where they're going to reform after that. It's going to be another tricky day in the southeast trying to figure that out. Two of our main short range models that we look at already disagree. So they're butting heads a little bit this morning, but we'll try to figure out what's going to happen here. We're also, and really we're going to focus on this in the first part of the video because I think it's going to be a dangerous setup today across portions of Wisconsin and surrounding areas. That there is a big time threat for some tornadoes today. And some could be strong. There's a damaging wind threat. There's a large hail threat. We'll talk about that in the beginning of the video. Then we'll talk about the southeast and we'll talk about the heat towards the mid to latter part of the video. So if you guys have not subscribed, please do that. Excuse me, here we go with a cracking voice. Please do that for me. It goes a long way in the slower periods like we are in right now. Like the video if you like it. Hit me up on my social media links over there. It's a great way to stay up to date with the latest and greatest and just interact with me if you do choose to do that. If you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. So I appreciate the support. Appreciate all you guys, and I hope you're feeling well this morning. So let's talk about what's going on as far as watches and warnings. We got a bunch of heat advisories, not quite as widespread maybe as it's been the last couple days, but heat advisories already up. Again, for portions of South Carolina where they were dropped yesterday due to that line of storms that whipped through. But you have some excessive heat warnings for areas of central Georgia that we need to watch out for. I do not think this quite reaches Atlanta, Georgia, but the heat index is going to be quite high in this region. But excessive heat warnings for a large chunk of the Ohio Valley, including the main three states, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Many counties have excessive heat warnings. Even some counties in the far southern extent of Michigan do, areas of Kentucky, Missouri, and even areas of eastern Iowa have this. So it's going to be another hot day today. The Storm Prediction Center, this is the biggest topic here. Enhanced risk. Will this upgrade to a moderate risk? Well, right now, maybe not. But let me go on and reiterate this as I always do when we're talking about severe weather. Normally, I make these videos around 7:30 in the morning Eastern time. These normally upgrade about 1 to as much as 3 hours after I make this video. So by the time you watch this, who knows? This might get upgraded to a moderate risk. So we need to watch out for this today. But there is an enhanced risk right now as I speak for this large portion of central Wisconsin, stretching all the way up into the northern Great Lakes area of northern Michigan. And then this includes areas of southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa, and then a slight risk surrounding it. Then you got this slight risk down here for the southeast and areas of mid-Atlantic. These are for the Ridge Rider storms. Ridge of high pressure sitting right around this area. Many storms do not pop up under the ridge of high pressure, and they flow around this ridge here. And therefore, you're going to have some kind of line of storms that develops again probably today and pivots around this ridge of high pressure here. And so whoever gets hit by this, these storms have a chance to be rather intense. Tornado threat, no tornado threat really with these storms. Of course, you can always have that isolated threat and that freak occurrence, but that's not really going to likely be the case for this risk down here. But up here, a 10% risk in this yellow area of seeing a tornado 25 miles in a given location. Now, this entire yellow area right here also has a hatch risk, which means we also have a 10% chance to see a stronger tornado at 25 miles at any given point. That means an EF2 or higher tornado. Once you start to get way up there, that really starts to destroy larger structures, things like that. Wind threat is going to be there also. You got the wind threat, obviously, with these lines of storms. Anytime you have a line of storms, the strong wind threat can definitely be there. But up here, where they're really thinking that this is going to be like a semi-discrete line of storms, or it's going to develop probably in western Wisconsin, maybe even further west, and work its way through Wisconsin, you're going to have a damaging wind threat, a 30% chance to see damaging winds, 25 miles in any given location, this red area, and then this area that you see outlined in the black right here, which includes Green Bay. By the way, Green Bay, a larger city. There is also a 10% chance to see significant wind damage in this region at 25 miles at any given location. That's 65 knots or higher. That's pushing 75 miles per hour. So, guys, please be aware, all hazards on the table. Hail threat is also there, a 30% chance to see 1 inch or diameter or larger hail up here. You also have a 10% chance to see 2 inch or diameter or larger hail up here also with this hatch region. Hail will be a risk down here also. But I'm telling you, all hazards on the table up here. That's why I think this does have a chance to get upgraded to a moderate risk. I would say it's already kind of at that high-end enhanced risk, if that even exists, which it doesn't right now, so we watch out for that. Ridging going on right here. You got a flow going around the ridging of high pressure, which is sitting right here. So sometime today you're going to have thunderstorm development in this region of the southeast, but where does it occur? Does it break the back of the heat like it did in portions of the Carolinas and Georgia yesterday? I think it has a real possibility to do that, but trying to figure out when that's going to occur is a big question. You already got ongoing convection going on across the north central U.S. and the Great Lakes region. This was expected. Short-range models show this. And here it is, this big-time upper trough, and what's going on is you have a short wave or a very weak low pressure that's riding the base of this upper trough that's going to spark and force these storms to develop. And with a highly rich moisturized environment, however you want to say this, dew points ranging all the way up into the 70s up into Wisconsin. You have a big time moist sector that pretty much covers the entire central and eastern U.S. Cape levels are going to respond to be up to 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram in the mid levels. And of course, at the surface, they're going to be very, very high. So plenty of fuel for these storms to really tap into. So let's take a look at this and how this potentially develops today. We're just going to focus on the HRRR model. We're getting into this morning. Here comes an area of storms that's already moving through Wisconsin through about the midday to early afternoon time frame. And then we watch this afternoon. Here comes these storms that start to move through, and really it's the central to northern part of Wisconsin we watch out for. But even if you're in Madison, Wisconsin, for example, even watch out Milwaukee, there's a chance for some storms for sure. But I really think the worst is going to be to your north. And let's back this up a little bit. So we're getting to about 2 p.m. This is already cranking up, so it's not going to be a late evening event. So you notice these really aren't discrete, meaning you don't have individual cells really developing here. They look like a semi-discrete line of storms, which when I'm saying that, that means a line of storms, but you have kind of embedded stronger cells in between these storms. When I tell you that these storms are going to pack all hazards with them, I mean it. This storm right here could be producing a tornado. These storms up here can be producing a tornado. This is going to start to enter areas like Marquette, so please be careful up in these areas. You guys don't see a ton of severe weather, but this is going to be an active day for you guys. We start to get into about the mid-afternoon time frame, and this is starting to knock on the door of Green Bay, for example, and I really think there will be a 1 to 3 hour time frame where these will have big time tornado potential with them, especially in the middle of Wisconsin and things like that. But I really think as we get a little bit later in the afternoon and the evening, there's still going to be a tornado threat, but this is going to turn into a big time damaging wind threat. And I really think Green Bay, watch out around late afternoon, early evening. Some nasty storms with damaging winds is going to roll through. And even look down there in Milwaukee, it's trying to make it down there, but it kind of loses a lack of forcing down here. The storm movement slows down. But these storms will be racing across Wisconsin today. Watch out. Northern Michigan, I really think probably mid this afternoon, this is going to be knocking on the door for you guys. And then later this evening, this will start to race across eastern areas of Wisconsin and Michigan. But let me stress this, did I say eastern? Hopefully I didn't say western, but it's going to be racing across eastern areas of Michigan and things like that. But I can't stress this enough. This is going to probably happen in the afternoon hours, so you're going to see this coming. I mean, you really are, especially when this bows out into a line of storms. But this is going to be quite dangerous today. It really is. But early on, you see this right here. This is, probably about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. These storms, I always struggle saying this name. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but what is it? Lacrosse, Wisconsin here. You guys could really be under the gun. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the best with punctuation. I can tell you that. But you guys could really have a threat really early in the day for some isolated supercells that could produce a tornado or two. So please be careful. Wisconsin Rapids will get slammed today also. But really moving forward here, we look at how strong these winds can be with these isolated kind of segments of storms in this line. Well, I really think the damaging wind threat will really pick up. That's why I'm saying watch out Green Bay. If you look into this area, let's get this going right here. You see this area right here in the red, that is 50 to 60 mile per hour winds starting to enter Green Bay, around midway this afternoon, give or take an hour. So this will be racing across the northern areas of Lake Michigan. Please do not be a boater out in Lake Michigan today. It's going to be wild, especially in the northern part of the lakes, even Lake Superior. But these storms are going to be big time wind threats here, I'm telling you. As far as this is what we call updraft helicity swaths. So in general, it doesn't tell us where a tornado is going to happen, but it tries to pinpoint where these storms are spinning, and all of them will be spinning today. There will be fast moving storms, and all of them will have a chance to spin. But there is going to probably be, and this has been showing up the last 24 hours, an area right in the middle of Wisconsin that's going to be the biggest threat here for, I think, a tornado. And that is where we watch out for that stronger EF2 or higher tornado. The atmosphere certainly is rich. It's going to be unstable. These are dew points rising briefly ahead of the upper trough. That's going to bring in some more drier air into this part of the country. But dew points are going to briefly reach probably the low to mid 70s. That is a rich moisture atmosphere here at the surface. So it's going to be very humid. It's been pretty humid up in this region. And you're going to feel it today, very sticky. And it's going to feel like something is coming today in this part of the country. So please be careful in response. You're going to have, let's see if we can pull it up, mix layer, the mid-level cape right here. Wow, here we go. So in response, you're going to have a lot of cape into this region today at the mid-levels. So please be careful today. Cape levels reaching 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. Plenty of fuel. This is what this is, fuel to the atmosphere in all levels for these storms to tap into and really produce all hazards. The southeast, let's talk about this. Tricky forecast for the southeast. And by the way, just please be careful if you're up there in Wisconsin today, for real. I mean, it is going to probably get pretty dicey. I know that's not an extremely heavily populated area, but there's some bigger cities like Green Bay that are really going to be impacted pretty hard today. But the southeast, we'll start this off this morning. This is the HRRR model. Things are just pivoting around this ridge of high pressure. And when does it form? Well, the HRRR model likes the idea of something popping off in central to north Georgia. Watch out, Atlanta. Some storms forming, maybe wrapping into Alabama before they lose some steam. HRRR model doesn't show much at all, right? It really doesn't show it much popping off. We turn around, we look at the NAM. We'll start this off by about late morning to midday. All of a sudden, it shows this nasty line of storms developing quickly into the southern Alps, basically the mountainous areas of North Carolina, kind of sinking southward into the upstate of South Carolina, kind of bowing out, broadening. It starts to broad more, and basically it stretches all the way from almost Charlotte, bows out all the way down to Augusta, and goes all the way back up to Atlanta, Georgia. So it tells you how different these models are. But this, honestly, the NAM looks like something more that could happen, and I'm not trying to be biased because towards a more aggressive scenario, but I can tell you both models totally disagree, and they have been the last 48 hours on all days, and it's just been a little ridiculous trying to figure out what's going to happen here. But if the NAM happens, big time severe weather threat, and I'm telling you, it could happen, develop very quickly, but big time severe weather threat across areas of South Carolina, Georgia, sinking into areas of Alabama today, outflow boundary driven. It might sink all the way to the panhandle of Florida. So this actually makes sense somewhat. There's going to be a very unstable atmosphere like there always is when you have a lot of heat and humidity. And if the NAM happens today, this could be an intense line of storms that whips through Columbia, Augusta, areas of Georgia. And we'll get a little bit closer look at how this potentially can unfold today. Storms very quickly form early to mid this afternoon. They blast through Greenville, Spartanburg, Greenwood, Columbia potentially could get some more rain, Augusta. They might gust themselves out temporarily and then rebuild. We kind of look at Georgia. And this looks like a pretty stout line of storms this evening for areas of central Georgia. So it's going to be a battle today to see who wins. It really is with the southeast threat. But this has that directional flow around the high pressure that makes sense. So if this forms, damaging wind threat is there, heavy rain for sure. Temperatures today across the southeast. If we do not get any storms, say there's just not widespread storms today, which there is a potential for that, high temperatures have the potential to get well into the hundreds a day for areas of central, eastern Georgia. I would say 70% of South Carolina. Charlotte could flirt with 100 a day. This is just the high-end potential. If storms do not develop, clouds clear, which it's not quite as cloudy this morning. But, hot day. Either way, it really is. But, 90s, upper 90s for everybody, all the way into the Ohio Valley. That's why you have excessive heat warnings. Brutal temperatures. The humidity is going to be bad. Apparent temperatures was basically, in a nutshell, heat index. Let's see if we can get the latest updated information here. Brutal. I mean, it absolutely is going to be brutal. Some areas will reach well over 110 degrees today as far as the heat index. So take the extra precautions you need to keep your animals safe, the elderly, everybody safe. Please do not leave your kids in the car for any period of time. And just be safe. Be safe out there, guys, because the heat's going to be intense where the storms do not form. A lot of areas were very lucky yesterday. I really think yesterday had a very high ceiling of how hot it could have got, but it just never did. The rest of the country, the Northeast, pretty quiet, maybe some showers moving into the mountainous areas of New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire today. But other than that, pretty quiet, very quiet weather. Y'all been lucky. Y'all been on the good side of the ridge. But the north central U.S., as we've talked about, nasty storms in Wisconsin, and even some nasty storms potentially all the way down into eastern Iowa, maybe a broken up line of storms moving across the northern half of Missouri, eastern Kansas. Not a whole lot going on, but in general, more broader look at the temperatures today. Very cool day across, not cool, I say cool like it's going to be cold, but a cooler day across the Northeast where you're not getting flexed on by that ridge of high pressure. 70s, but the further southwest you go, the warmer you get. But Boston, New York City, you guys have been very lucky, with temperatures only in the 70s and 80s with being on the northern side of this ridge. But hot day that's locked into the ridge. You can see a big temperature boundary right here where this upper trough is bringing in much more comfortable temperatures and dry air. But in general, hot day for who's been hot the last few days. But that's all I got, guys. Stay safe today. Pretty active day today. A lot of heat. But I'll give you an update this evening on something. But God bless all y'all. Stay safe, and y'all have a great Wednesday.